Hi, I'm Claudia Cruz, editor of Mountain View Patch, and welcome to Patchcast.
Hi, I'm L.A. Chung, and I'm the editor of Los Altos Patch, covering Los Altos and Los Altos Hills.
Patch is a network of online news and information sites across the country, but here in the Bay Area, we bring you news on a weekly basis from the studios of KMVT, and the news is from the communities of Mountain View, Los Altos, and Cupertino. And now for this week's top news. In Mountain View, we mourn the death of 34-year-old Joshua Baker, who was hit by a car on Saturday, September 17th, shortly after 10:20 p.m. as he crossed the corner of California Avenue and Pettis Street. California Street and Pettis Avenue. The 34-year-old was visiting from Illinois and succumbed to his injuries at Stanford Hospital a short time later. The police department does not believe that speeding or alcohol were at fault for this incident. Our condolences to his family. Earlier in the evening of September 17th, the Mountain View Fire Department responded to a two-alarm blaze at 2260 Wyandotte Street. The blaze injured two residents and two firefighters received minor injuries. Reported at 5:18 p.m., firefighters arrived to see flames coming out of second story of that building, and the fire displaced families in 4 units at that apartment complex. Again, 2 residents were transported to a local hospital with fire-related injuries, and 2 firefighters also received minor injuries. The Red Cross remained at the scene to help the residents displaced find temporary accommodations. The cause of the fire has not yet been released, but you should check back on Mountain View Patch for updates on this unfortunate incident. El Camino Hospital and the Service Employees International Union have reached a tentative agreement regarding salary and compensation as announced Wednesday, September 19th. The employees of the hospital had been without a contract for close to a year as of October 15th of 2011, and throughout the year had been in negotiations with the hospital. However, the hospital was not budging and moving from their last and best offer, which they gave the SEIU on November 15th, 2011. However, significant steps have been made, and now the employees can count on 6% salary increase during the duration of the contract, which is 3 years, fully paid health care coverage for the employees and their families, and an increase of 12% in their paid time off from which is 350 hours to 400 hours. This includes a vacation time, which is what paid time off is. And interestingly, throughout the year of close to a year of negotiations, there have been lots of acrimonious talk between the two parties, and so much so that the union and some of the employees pushed to have a measure placed on the November 6th ballot. The measure called Measure M would put a cap on the executive salary pay at El Camino Hospital. No more than 2 times the amount of money that Governor Brown or any governor of California makes. The Measure M, the difference would then be used for patient services. When asked what the union believes should happen with the measure now, their response just suggested to voters to continue to educate themselves and remain informed on the issues and to vote according to what they find. This salary negotiation agreement comes 1 day after El Camino Hospital also settled with its nurses union, the Professional Resource Nurses Network. And between the hospital, SEIU, and PRN, there will be a more robust and comprehensive wellness program developed for the employees. So this is what's been happening on the El Camino Hospital front after several months and close to a year of negotiations between the parties. Early morning on Wednesday, September 19th, people gathered to welcome Sprouts, a new farmers market, supermarket in Mountain View that is now located at 630 San Antonio Road at the old location of Rasputin Music and DB Shoes. Sprout, which is now in the combined space of 20,000 square feet, is very similar to the location in Sunnyvale. So there's a deli section, a meat section, and a large produce section. They're known for their produce and known for the items that people can buy in bulk, such as granola, flour, apricot, dried fruits, chocolates, for example. Sprouts actually merged with Boulder, Colorado-based Sunflower Supermarket, which was the original lessee for the space. But now all the supermarkets originally to be called Sunflower are called Sprouts. Still very happy and patchy names, so we like that. But make sure to stop by. They're open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day, and will now be able to service not just the community of Mountain View, but the community of Los Altos and Palo Alto in that very strategic Tri-City area. So welcome to the neighborhood. Hope you didn't miss it, but Space Shuttle Endeavour flew over Moffett Field on Friday, September 21st, bright and early. 6 a.m. for those of us who got there. Just trying to make sure you found a parking spot and a good viewing opportunity. But this is Space Shuttle Endeavour's final ferry flight, which means it piggybacks on top of a modified Boeing 747. And it left Florida's Kennedy Space Center on Wednesday, September 19th, flew across the country, up into Sacramento, crossed the Golden Gate Bridge, down the peninsula via 101, and arrived near Moffett Field. Fun event. There was food and lots of just excited people who had never seen a space shuttle before, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see one. So this was a special treat for people in the area, and definitely for the researchers and scientists at NASA Ames Research Center who have worked over the past 50 years in developing some of the tools used in the space shuttle program. So Patch was there, we had a great time, and we hope you enjoy some of these interviews and photos that we took of the event.
I'm a science teacher, and so we were just talking about how the special land and the curiosity, we were talking about in science class, and then so when I found out about this, I said, they need to be part of this historic Mountain View event. I feel that, having this experience, they're going to just spark their interest and their imagination to even go beyond and to support the space program once they start up again.
I feel great, but it's history, so it's kind of like out there. It's kind of like weird seeing history being made, even though it's just passing through. So I guess I feel awesome being here and watching it, but then I also feel weird seeing history being made. So.
The City Council approved on Tuesday, September 18th, a donation from a local family of 2 pieces of the Berlin Wall. Mr. Frank Golson and his wife, Kunigunda Golson, had purchased a piece of the wall after it had come down it started to come down in 1989. Mr. Frank Golson is a German immigrant to the Bay Area back in the 1930s, settled in Mountain View, started a business, raised his family, and in the 1990s, when the opportunity arose to be able to get a piece of the wall, he flew to Germany, according to his son Robert, who spoke in front of City Council, spoke to a merchant, people who were selling pieces of the wall, bought a piece of the wall, they put it on a container, shipped it across the ocean, and it arrived in California. But to their surprise, they actually got 2 pieces of the wall for the price of 1. Since the arrival of the Berlin Wall here in Mountain View, it's been located at 2685 Marin Way, which is on the other side of 101 up San Antonio Road in the Bayside Business Plaza. However, due to the deaths of Mr. Golson Sr. and his wife, the children believe that the parents would be very happy if the Berlin Wall stayed here in Mountain View. So they approached the city with this donation. So the City Council has accepted the gift, it will spend between $20,000 and $40,000 to put up the installation. They're very large pieces, as you can see. And the Visual Arts Committee will not be charged with trying to find an appropriate location in the city where the walls are not hidden away but visible for everyone to see. So if you have any suggestions, log on to Patch and let us know where you think it should go. Leave us a comment on Patch about this, any other thing that you think we should know about.
Hi, I'm L.A. Chung, and I am the editor of Los Altos Patch. Welcome to Patchcast. Today, we're doing our special Moon Festival edition, and we have moon cakes here for you to take a look at. We're going to try some out later on. I have with us today in our studio Crystal Tai, who is our Cupertino contributor and our resident expert on all things culinary and Chinese or California Chinese. We have a couple things here. I just want to show them really quickly. These are moon cakes that you can purchase commercially in some of the local Asian markets. We went to 99 Ranch for these. Crystal,
Yeah, hi.
welcome.
Thanks.
So we're going to talk a little bit about moon cakes, but maybe you have to explain to us where moon cakes come from. What are they connected to?
Mooncakes probably come from Hong Kong or Taiwan or China. You know, they're available at local Asian markets.
But why do we have moon cakes now?
For Moon Festival, which is the traditional Chinese holiday, actually an East Asian holiday because the holiday originated in China and was passed to other Asian countries such as Korea and Vietnam.
And so let's see what we have here. Would you like to show us first what a moon cake might look like?
Mooncakes are supposed to resemble the full moon because Moon Festival celebrates the 8th full moon of the lunar year, which usually falls in September or early October. See, you know, the mooncake is usually round. Okay, and when you eat it, usually because Moon Festival is a holiday for family reunion, people would cut mooncakes into slices for the whole family to share. You know, of course, you know, just a few family members share one mooncake. And this mooncake, see, you know, there's an egg yolk in the center. Some mooncakes have them, some don't. You know, if you don't really feel like having a duck egg yolk in your dessert, you can look at the pictures on the box, you know, to decide. You know, usually the box shows a picture of the mooncakes inside, and you can see that this one doesn't have an egg yolk.
Tell me something about these egg yolks. Now, for those of us who are used to pastries and, you know, pies and cookies and things like that, having a duck egg yolk in something sweet sounds a little strange.
Right, it's strange to mainstream Americans and Westerners, but I don't know, sometimes in Chinese desserts, something savory is mixed in. You know, it's just a Chinese thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Now, Crystal, tell me a little bit about the differences between mooncakes. China's a big country. I understand there are regional differences. This one, for example, looks very different from the one you just showed us.
Yes.
For lack of a better word, it looks a little bit like a very pretty hockey puck. Mm-hmm. It's flatter, and it's got, the pastry has some carving on the outside, or I shouldn't say carving, but it's been embellished. And I'm going to pull this out. It's going to make a little bit of noise. It's very pretty. And tell me about this kind of mooncake.
Well, this is Cantonese style. Most Cantonese style mooncakes have a egg yolk inside, but this one doesn't.
So this mooncake that we're looking at is done in what you would call the Hong Kong style?
Yeah, it's Cantonese style or Hong Kong style.
Okay.
Usually, Hong Kong style or Cantonese style mooncakes have an egg yolk inside, but this one doesn't. You know, the whole box doesn't.
Okay. And then there's yet another style.
Yes.
You mentioned Shanghai style?
Yeah, yes. Shanghai style is kind of similar to this. This is actually Taiwanese style. Shanghai style also has a whiter crust than Cantonese style. The crust is similar to this, but Shanghai style is flatter. So the shape is like this, but the color of the crust is more like this.
Okay, so to summarize, a Cantonese style is one that's more golden brown.
Yes.
It has usually an embossed design on it,
Yes.
and they're flatter.
Yes.
Whereas the Taiwanese and the Shanghai style are rounder.
Rounder, but
And-
the Shanghainese style has a flatter top
Okay.
than the Taiwanese style.
Okay,
The Taiwanese style, see, you know, the top is quite round.
so let's talk about what's inside these. We've already seen the duck egg version.
Yes.
What kind of fillings do we see in these sorts, very many mooncakes?
Usually sugary fillings. You know, there are many different kinds.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is probably jujube
Uh-huh.
or red bean paste. Well, let me see what it is.
I think you can probably just open this one up now.
Yeah.
So why don't you do that?
Okay.
And we can see how one might do it.
Yeah. Okay, see the filling inside? Red bean paste.
So this is red bean paste.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a sweet filling.
Yes.
And so this mooncake you had here, is this a type you just like eat on your own, or how is it served?
Usually you cut it up, you know, you into quarters.
The way you've done it.
Right.
And how do you, when you come? These are gifts that you bring at when you're going to visit friends and family.
Yes.
Or a business associate, perhaps. Sure. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about giving, sort of etiquette when giving mooncakes. I went into 99 Ranch, and the same thing would happen if you went into Marina Market in Cupertino. And there are boxes and boxes and boxes of mooncakes. And they're all over the place. So how do we go about choosing one? We know there's a difference between the Cantonese style that are kind of flat. We know there's Taiwanese style. We know there's Shanghainese style. But let's talk about what's inside the fillings. How can you choose?
See, you know, some of them have English labels.
Down here.
Yeah, so if you don't read Chinese, you can look for English labels.
So for example, this one says lotus seed, egg yolk, mooncake.
Yes.
And this one says date paste egg yolk cake. And this one says walnut red bean paste egg yolk cake. So all of these have egg yolks in them.
Yes.
And so you'll know that from looking at
And
this.
then even from the picture.
You'll know that. And then this one here.
It also has an English label.
And this one has an English label, so it's very easy to see. In other words, if you might want to eat that, you'd say, okay, this one is pineapple mooncake. This one is walnut and date and red bean. This one is red bean paste mooncake. So you can choose among these.
Yes.
Okay. I was also interested to see that there's quite a price range. But getting these assortment boxes, are you can get green tea style.
Yes.
They go from like $11.99 to $53.99 for these big ones, and some of them are in boxes, some of them are in tins. What's a person to do if they don't know anything about this? How do you go about choosing how big of a box or little of a box, or do you go for the assortment, or?
It all depends on what you're going to do with them. You know, if you're just going to have some by yourself, you can even get a personal pack.
Ah, yes.
But those are usually only available at bakeries.
Okay.
You know, at markets, you'll only see boxes.
So for example, today I went over to 99 Ranch, and you could probably do the same thing at Marina Market in Cupertino. And they have a bakery associated with them at 99 Ranch. It's Sogo Bakery. And so they had these individual ones. This one cost $1.75. There were a few that were $5.95 and on the individual pack. And so you can just choose among those, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any advice that you would give to people about giving and sharing mooncakes?
Be adventurous. You know, you try some flavors you've never had before.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, and Happy Moon Festival, everyone.
Happy Moon Festival.
In news about Los Altos this week, in Los Altos Hills, the National Merit Scholarship Program released its national list of semifinalists. These are students who are top students in their classes, and it's based on their PSAT classes that they took last spring as juniors in high school. Los Altos High School had 14 semifinalists. Mountain View High School had 11 semifinalists. Other public schools where Los Altos and Los Altos Hills kids might be going would be Gunn High School, which had 33 semifinalists. Homestead High School, that's Steve Jobs' and Steve Wozniak's alma mater, had 14. Pinewood, located in Los Altos Hills, had 2. And there was one notable semifinalist. This was Rebecca Burks, who was a homeschooled student. And in order to be, this is not an unusual phenomenon with the National Merit Scholarship Program, but it is becoming, I think, a little bit more prevalent and a little bit more well-known. Over the last 20 years, there's been a steady increase, the program tells me. And students, as they become, homeschooled students, as they become aware of what's required to be considered for the National Merit Scholarship Program, have to ask a neighbor school, an actual school with public school with buildings, if they can take a test there where it's properly proctored, and they can be considered right along with the other students in public high school. And actually, I guess that would also extend actually to private schools, so you could actually ask a private school to proctor your test. We will have also more lists coming out of all the private schools in the area who on Los Altos Patch, if you just keep looking at losaltos.patch.com. This is a campaign season. We are in the tight weeks leading up to November 6th for this presidential election, and we have a lot of limited seats and multiple candidates. So in that spirit, there are forums for the City Council, the Los Altos School District, the school board for the county has area elections, and so the area that covers Los Altos and Mountain View, Palo Alto, has a contested race. The incumbent is facing a challenger, so there is a forum for that Area 1 coming up. I'm going to give you some dates so you know what to look for. For City Council, September 27th at Los Altos High School, October 2nd at Council Chambers, and October 1st is not a place you come to, but you can watch on KMVT. I will be one of the panel who will be asking candidates questions on KMVT. For the school board, League of Women Voters, in conjunction with the Los Altos Library, has a candidates forum on September 30th. Los Altos Patch covered the first school board candidates forum that was on Monday, the 17th of September, and you can read about that in Patch. And for other races that are coming up that concern Los Altos and Mountain View in the area, the Foothill De Anza College District is having the Foothill De Anza College District has a contested race, and so there will be a candidates forum on September 30th at the library. And lastly, the 24th Assembly, in which there was a pretty lively race between incumbent Rich Gordon and George Chung-Chi Chang. I'd like to make a personal observation about the flyover the Endeavor because it was such an exciting event and such an amazing thing for people of all ages to take part in. For many in the Valley, they have a sort of a nostalgic tie to the endeavor. It is the last vestige of the space program as we knew it, that got set into motion by President Kennedy after the Russian Soyuz. God, I got to start over. I cannot do that so many times. 3, 2, 1. I'd also like to make a personal observation about the flyover of the Endeavour that took place this past week, and say that while we did it better before. 3, 2, 1. I, like a lot of people, really enjoyed the flyover of the Space Shuttle Endeavour. It was really an amazing event that allowed so many people from all ages to be able to take part in, and to see something that has never come through the skies of Northern California and probably never will again. For a lot of people in this valley, however, I think there was a special note of excitement and perhaps a little bit of sadness too. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is really the last vestige of the space program as we knew it. And for those baby boomers who have been around for when the space program really launched in the 1960s, it built this valley. That and the Cold War essentially built this valley after the orchards had been built. And so now space exploration is going to be done by private commerce, and I think we've lost something from the days that it was a public mission and a citizen's mission as well. And I'd just like to note that. There's been some exciting things that are happening over the week of September 17th and the following week after that, and that is that State Street seems to be turning into a park on 2 separate weekends. September 22nd and 23rd, the area, parking area behind 359 State Street and on either side is going to be turned into a little mini park. This is kind of like an art and culture installation. It's in honor of Parking Day. Passerelle Investments, which is a company that owns several properties throughout downtown Los Altos and has been trying to inject some real community in the downtown area, decided to participate in this and successfully got permission from the City of Los Altos to install a green there. And there's going to be artists and music and all kinds of things in there for people to get together, create community, and perhaps create a little. There is going to be an art auction over at 359 State Street, which is this is a pop-up store known as the Bike Shop, and has been a meeting place and has been a very popular place for sort of semi-public events. There's going to be a whole bunch of art at 359 State Street, and this is to benefit people in third world countries with bicycles. Also coming up, the next place that we start rolling out the green in downtown Los Altos is on State Street between 2nd and 3rd, and this is, I guess, the first really big public thing in commemoration of Los Altos' 60th birthday. Los Altos was founded was incorporated on December 1st, 1952, and there have been events all year round to commemorate Los Altos' birthday. But on Saturday, the 29th of September is the first time I think we're going to see a birthday cake ceremony, and that will take place on the lawn, the park that's going to be created on State Street.
Thanks again for joining us on another episode of Patchcast. Thank you to the crew and staff of KMVT for helping us to bring you another week of local news. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.